It's all fun and games until somebody does something illegal, and then it's just a crime. Hey, it's Ali. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. Now, between the myriad of apps that I use that are constantly fighting for my brain matter, which is constantly melting, one through line seems to be the constant in all of them, and that is the absolute infection of AI into fandom. AI has pretty much taken over every aspect of fandom culture. Should we be worried? If at any time you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe because I make videos like this all the time. And comment down below how you feel about AI. I asked some of you in an anonymous form how you feel about AI, and we're going to talk about that today. But if in case you didn't get to fill out that form, you should follow me on my social media so you can find out when I drop them. Let me know how you feel in the comments below, and let's jump into it. Now, I don't want this whole video to be completely doom and gloom, so I'm going to say this right off of the bat. AI, as we know it, has completely not taken over the world. It has insane limitations so far, especially within the AI art space, the AI voice space. ChatGPT and like writing AI is sort of getting better, but as you will soon find out, you need a lot to make it anything, and it still requires a lot of a human touch. So don't be like completely scared if you're like, oh my god, like I'm never gonna be an artist or a writer or a singer or like whatever because they're just gonna hire AI. People will always want a human touch, and when they want a human touch, they will pay for a human touch. Okay, so let's talk about how much I hate AI. So let's start off with AI art, which I think is the first time within like regular society, if you're not like a huge tech bro, was probably the first time that you realize that AI is becoming as big as it is, right? There were a lot of artists out there whose works were being used to train AI to make AI art that looks very similar to their art, not completely like their art, but very, very similar, to the point where now we have corporations, of course, taking these people's art and using it to train their AI to make their own AI art. For what exactly? I don't actually know. So like Adobe was one of these, like feel free to sound off in the comments because I still don't know why Adobe is doing this. Hey Bubs. Adobe took a lot of people's art without their permission, by the way, and used it to train their own AI art software. Which like, why? Like what is the use for it? Like I still like, I don't understand the use of like AI art like at all, other than like promotional material or just to be like, oh, look at this nice thing. Like genuinely, it's just lazy. And in the form that I sent out to you guys and asked you guys about like how you feel about it, a lot of you felt that it was lazy. It was lazy to either just not hire a paying artist yourself, or you yourself don't have the skills to make the art, which is like, then hire somebody to do it, you know? It's just a way of getting out of paying for someone's work. AI voices and AI art is lazy and should be considered theft, especially when someone uses AI to generate specific voices instead of just paying the actual voice actor. I think AI in general will do a lot more harm than good. I absolutely believe there should be no AI in fandom at all. By its design, AI relies on stolen copyright and using art/voices without consent. There is a very high chance that AI art can be used for malicious purposes, producing pornography, making characters say racist, homophobic, transphobic things, etc. And it could be used against the artists, writers, or voice actors and put their livelihoods at risk. As AI has gotten to the point where it is indistinguishable from real life and also hard to erase from the internet. AI art, in my opinion, is terrible. As an artist myself, I hear lots about how many other artists work hours upon hours making an art piece only for AI software to steal parts of it, mixing it with other art pieces to create this Frankenstein art piece. And they also said my makeup was really nice, like thank you. But yeah, the consensus about specifically AI art is that it's just a way for you to not pay your artist. And a lot of like tech bros and AI bros will try and sit there and say, well, look what I can do, and you're just mad that my art looks so nice and yours doesn't, and blah 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 blah. And it's like, no, because fundamentally you have to use somebody else's work in order to make your work. It'll never be your work, which is why, you know, silver lining, we are slowly getting copyright laws that say that AI art is not copyrightable. Why? Because it is not based off of your own work. It is based off of literally other people's work. It's not even like, oh, I took inspiration from like Picasso and I made something that looks like something Picasso would have made. No, you took Picasso's work, fed it into a machine, and the machine produced something using a bunch of Picasso's work. Now, obviously Picasso he's dead, but like, you know what I mean. An artist named Loish was one of them that was taken by Adobe without their permission to use their art to train the software, and they had no idea about it. It's only because they are a super well-known artist that people were able to tell them and be like, hey, did you sign off on this? And no, they didn't. And because they're a super well-known artist, Adobe immediately responded and was like, oh, my bad, it slipped through the cracks. We have people checking, but I guess we don't have enough people checking. I don't know how that works. I don't know how you just put stuff in without getting permission of the artist and then try to be like, actually, we have people checking, but this somehow slipped through our cracks. And that makes me wonder how many artists who don't have the same amount of following, or who just straight up aren't online like that, are having their artwork stolen and will never know because you didn't do your due diligence as a company using and making the software to make sure that you ask the artist ahead of time. As for AI art, I'm not sure. I'm not an artist, but I do prefer when people draw the art themselves instead of using AI because it feels more real. AI can't come up with new ideas. It's just a fact. Using it to help prompt creativity in the same way that a name or prompt generators do is fine by me, but using it to make an entire piece of work is wrong, especially when so much of it is test data, is the work of people who didn't consent to it being used. AI art as an artist sucks ass. It steals our hard work and recreates it without our consent, without our pay, without any consideration to us. AI artists get praise for putting words in a screen and pressing enter, all while getting more praise than those of us who put hours into a piece of work. Now listen, I know we're all scared that AI is going to take our jobs, especially in the artist field, but let me tell you, AI has been constantly used throughout history. AI, machine learning, has constantly been used throughout history in the tech field to help people do their jobs faster and better. That does not mean it's going to take your job. When a human touch is required, people will want and pay for that human touch. Now, these big corporations think that they won't have to do that, and I'll get more into that when we talk about writing and AI writing, but know that the people who will pay for it, and they will pay you for your work. I promise you. And also, AI art still doesn't know how to draw hands. I guess that's just like a universally hard thing to do, even for a machine. Next, let's talk about AI voice. So AI voice started getting super duper popular when people started putting out these AI voice covers of cartoon characters singing certain songs, namely the SpongeBob ones. I don't know why the SpongeBob ones got so popular. They are actually so funny, especially Plankton's, which is just screaming. And as far as I knew, the only annoying thing about the AI voice covers was the fact that people were using it so much just to get clout on TikTok, to the point where my timeline was filled with it and I had to start like clicking not interested, because it was just so much to the point where it just wasn't even funny anymore. If I had a dime for every Luffy Afro beats cover song, it was funny the first couple of times. Now if I have to hear Luffy go Charlie one more time, I'm gonna. But of course, it's all fun and games until it's crimes. Literal crimes. Like plagiarizing, make people say things that they didn't say, like making Taylor Swift say the N-word. Also, making the main character from Miraculous Ladybug, the little ladybug girl, making her say really nasty stuff. That character is a minor. And also, if someone who doesn't know that it's AI hears a character saying that, they're gonna think, oh, the voice actor said that? They can't have had said that. That's crazy that they would say that and then impose all of that anger onto that voice actor. That being said, I'm still laughing at the AI voice songs like SpongeBob ones because I think it's funny. AI is an ethics debate at the end of the day, which seems to be going in the right direction with current legislation voting for it not being able to be copyright. For memes, like making songs sung by characters, I think is fine. AI fan art and fanfiction feels weird and kind of cringe to me because I think a fandom activities like fan art and fanfiction are so human, and it's weird that anyone would use AI to do them. Using voice AI characters for songs and voice acting, I'm kind of mixed on. For example, Plankton singing Diamonds by Rihanna, but on the other hand, some voice actors aren't comfortable with their voices being used in AI, and sometimes people use AI to make certain people say offensive things. I think it's disrespectful to those who put in the time and effort into their work. It's literally just stealing, and it's not okay. And using a voice actor's voice without their permission is also not okay. Also, a lot of these voice actors, especially for like animes and cartoons and stuff like that, they have cameos. You can just pay them to say stuff. You can pay them to sing songs in your voice. People do that. People go to conventions and ask them to do that. They pay for these things. So once again, we're back to the argument that, like, are you doing this because you thought it was funny, or are you just too lazy to actually seek out the artists themselves and pay them for that? Or do you just really want to hear Plankton say fuck? Now, once again, I think the only solution to this is really just legislation and rules against this, especially online. The way we have notes on Twitter now, like community notes that let you know that, hey, this tweet was probably not proofread. This tweet tweeting about this random article, they probably did not read this article or watch this video or whatever. They are extremely misinformed on what they are doing. In that same way, I hope that we have now AI notes that you have to put onto your thing. And if you don't put that onto your own content, it will either get flagged as such or you can get banned entirely. Honestly, I think that's pretty fair. Like, if you just the same way you follow rules here on YouTube that you have to know if something is or isn't for kids, you should have to know whether something is or isn't for AI. And if you get caught trying to say that, oh, this actually isn't for kids, but it really is for kids, you can get in trouble for that. Same way you should be able to get in trouble for not allowing the audience that you have to know that you are using AI for whatever project. Now, a couple of more examples of how this AI voice stuff went awry. Somebody made a Scooby-Doo FNAF like type of fan game, and in it they used one of Daphne's voice from AI, and they got in trouble for that. And we'll circle back to that one because the way that this one ended was a little bit hopeful, but also like, why didn't you just do that in the first place? But the third example that I have is the newest FNAF fan game to blow up recently. It's called Candyland. And it looks amazing. Like, the 3D models look amazing. The environments look really well done in Unreal. It looks really cool and also could be really spooky. And then the way he was marketing this and raising money for this game was through NFTs. See my last video if you want to hear me talk about another horror indie project that was doing pretty much the exact same thing, a la Poppy Playtime. It even goes worse than that because they released a trailer for this game in which there is a narrator who sounds suspiciously like Henry from Five Nights at Freddy's 6. Lo and behold, it come to find out that it was an AI use of Henry's voice. Someone contacted Henry's original voice actor and was like, hey, did you sign off on this? And they were like, absolutely not. And the thing is you can tell it's getting really hard with voice AI specifically, but you can tell because it just sounds weird. It's very clipped. It doesn't sound like someone's making a full sentence. It sounds like they don't really know how to speak. It sounds like someone's like first ever voice acting role. You can just tell. It's getting harder and harder to tell, but you can still most definitely tell. And when I watched it, I was like, this is like somebody trying to do a bad impression of the dude from Five Nights at Freddy's 6. Lo and behold, that's exactly what it was. Now, I'm not sure if they took it down or if they changed it or anything like that, but I do know for the second one, the Scooby-Doo FNAF one, they apologized, the creator apologized and said that they were going to hire actual voice actors. Why you didn't just do that in the first place? There are plenty of voice actors out there who will actually do the stuff for free so they can put it on their portfolio and their reel so they can actually build, you know, some experience so that they can eventually get paid work. Like, you didn't try that first. Your first instinct was to immediately go to AI, which is just laziness in my opinion. So lastly, let's talk about AI fanfiction. So this one's a little bit new because I've only been seeing it very, very recently with only a few people within the realm. The thing about writing is that there are just so many resources out there for you to become a better writer. Like a person said before about the prompt generators and trying to come up with a scenario or whatever is totally fine. The thing about writing AI now, like ChatGPT, is it gives you a good prompt to start off with, but you can't write an entire script with ChatGPT or any writing AI software for that matter. So this idea that these fucking corporations are like, oh, we're just gonna use AI to write scripts now, and then we'll have writers come in for half of their pay or way less than their pay to touch the script up. Let me tell you, those scripts will need so much touching up to the point where you're basically making the writer rewrite the script. And also, it has to work on previous stuff. You're not going to get anything new or fresh or interesting working off of previous stuff. But as it relates to fandom and fan fiction, I think drawing bad fan art or writing cringy fanfic as a kid is a very important and shared thing for a lot of artists and writers in fandom spaces. If I hadn't spent every day role-playing Warrior Cats Online and badly drawing everyone's edgy OCs, I wouldn't be applying to art school today. I just think fandom creation is such a genuine expression of human love for something that it shouldn't be done by AI. it feels wrong. My school bans us from bringing home essays and math homework because ChatGPT exists and we could ask it for answers and write an essay easily. It's actually really interesting. Also, thank you for your compliment. Also, I've never heard of AI fanfiction. I didn't know people did that. It doesn't make sense. I don't think AI can write stories as good as humans. The stories might be all over the place and make no sense. I can see how using it for fanfic can make the release of said fanfic faster. I also think it takes away from some personality that the author could add. On one hand, I believe that AI being used for art and fanfiction is inherently not great, in my opinion, unless it's used for inspiration. Even then, setting aside the content theft, it just sort of takes creativity out of it, you know? Like, you could draw, write, anything you want, and you have a computer do it for you. I don't know, it just seems a bit lazy, I guess. On the other hand, I think that heavy TF2 singing Racing Into the Night by Yasobi is, yeah. Yeah. Overall, I don't see fanfiction used with AI nearly as much as I see it with AI art or AI voice acting. However, I have been seeing, to not much success, thankfully, these AI character chatbots. And basically, these are like a new form of like reader insert fanfictions. So there's a website called betacharacter.ai, and essentially you can look up a character or make your own chatbot and talk to them in such fanfiction form. I don't know if this was the original use of this website. I doubt it, because you can also talk to like Elon Musk. So I don't know. But you can talk to Vash the Stampede. You don't have to, he immediately says, despite nearly leaping for joy when you offer to pay for dinner. You're always like this, buying stuff for him, spoiling him. His face reddens every time, but he can't help the bashful smile that tugs onto his lips. It feels good to know you care about him in some way, even if it's not in the way he wants you to. What do you mean by that? I feel like I'm taking advantage of you, Vash says. No, not at at all. Baby girl, send. You have unlimited free messages. To continue chatting, please select a username. So it immediately wants my information, which, like, love that. If you guys want a whole video of me just doing this, let me know. Yes, 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 take my information, blah, blah, blah. And then it doesn't even take me back to the thing I was doing. No, you're not, baby girl. Send. Vash blushes so fiercely at the new pet name that he used. He has to look away from you. You didn't even mean to say it, it just slipped out. This is embarrassing. I'm a grown adult, you know, a man, not some helpless baby. He clears his throat and fixes you with an icy glare, trying to act tough. In reality, the corner of his mouth is curling into a grin. He enjoys this little game and knows you're... You know what? I actually think I'm going to do an entire video about this. Stay tuned for part 2. The point that I'm trying to make is... he wants to join the conversation. The point that I'm trying to make is, why write fanfiction yourself when you can just have a chatbot do it for you? No matter how good AI gets, it will never be that. Just an amalgamation of small collection of the human experience. So I believe we should embrace AI because it doesn't lessen anything we make, but could inspire, make us laugh, and just be fun overall. I think AI voice acting can be okay if you can't get other people to do it for you or want the voice as close as possible. As someone who likes drawing, I can't say I like the usage of AI art. I dislike AI because it diminishes the hard work people are putting into writing, drawing, and voice acting. Also, using AI in fandom spaces can feed the machine. AI is already screwing up people's jobs and could replace workers. Why should we put something that is putting people out of a job for our entertainment? Yeah, that's about it. I don't like AI, but also I don't think it's as crazy as everyone is making it out to be just yet. I think that because machine learning kind of just goes and goes and goes, like, quite literally, you know, the people who made like TikTok algorithms and YouTube algorithms don't know how they work anymore because they've just learned so much. The machine has learned so much that it's hard to keep track of the way that it does things. So when people say that no one knows how the algorithm works, it's real. No one knows how the algorithm works. And I think that until we put a kibosh and at least regulations, AI should not be used in any professional capacity whatsoever. It's fun and fine when you want to do silly little things here and there because who's stopping you? It's fine and fun. Even these AI chatbots can be fun and funny sometimes. It's the moment when someone tries to monetize off of it or not pay the original workers first, that's when I start to get an issue. But know this, someone will pay for your human work. People want that humanized touch. Think about it in the case of like car detailers. Yeah, sure, a robot can clean your car. A robot can do this, that, the third, and whatever. but people pay top dollar for people to detail their car, to put cool decals on their car. It's the same thing with like shoemakers. Yeah, a factory can make a shoe, but people who, you know, make their own clothing and shoes and hats and this and that and jewelry, that stuff gets paid even more top dollar for that because it has that human touch to it. So do not be discouraged if you're trying to learn drawing, art, or get into voice acting or whatever, because you are still needed. People still want you here. And if these big corporations don't want that, then fuck those big corporations. Dead ass. We should just all... Never mind. I could say something here that could be held up in the court of law. Anyway, thank you so much for watching to the end. If you did, you are a real one. If y'all are interested in the AI chatbot video, let me know, because that was hilarious. That was absolutely hilarious. And also let me know what kind of content you would like to see from me next. I'm trying to slowly get back into actual like review content with certain shows. I am probably going to do Murder Drones as the next show that I get to. When I get to it, I don't know. How did this fan end up in my hand? I don't know. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode. Love and peace.